Extraction 2 from 2023 continues the story of Tyler Rake, expanding on the emotional and physical journey that began in the first film while exploring deeper themes of guilt, resilience, and the cost of violence. The film opens by revealing that Tyler survived the near-fatal injuries from his previous mission, but his recovery is far from complete. Living in isolation and struggling with physical weakness, he embodies the aftermath of a life defined by constant conflict. His healing process is slow, painful, and marked by a sense of purposelessness, as though survival itself has become a burden. Yet the moment he learns that his ex-wife Mia's sister and her children are imprisoned by a Georgian crime lord, a spark of resolve returns. Tyler, despite the trauma he carries, chooses to step back into danger, driven by loyalty and a lingering sense of responsibility that he cannot deny. The mission is introduced with tension and urgency, emphasizing that Tyler is not simply returning to the world of mercenaries but confronting a past filled with unresolved emotions. His reunion with Nick and Yaz reminds him that he has a makeshift family in the people who have stood by him despite his self-destructive tendencies. Their dynamic provides the emotional grounding the story needs, highlighting themes of trust, shared history, and chosen loyalty. The trio embarks on the mission with a mixture of determination and dread, aware that the situation is more volatile than anything they have handled before, especially given the location of the prisoners inside a brutal Georgian prison controlled by the criminal organization they are targeting. The extraction sequence inside the prison serves as the centerpiece of the film's intensity and physical storytelling. Tyler infiltrates the facility under a false identity, moving through a hostile environment filled with guards who enforce control with violence and fear. When he finally reaches Mia's sister Ketavan and her children, the escape devolves into chaos as the criminal leader Zurab orders his forces to stop them at any cost. The battle that unfolds is raw, unrelenting, and visceral, emphasizing Tyler's advanced combat skills while also reminding the audience of his vulnerability. He fights with a mixture of precision and desperation, protecting the family even as he absorbs blows and injuries that push him to the brink. The riot that erupts within the prison amplifies the sense of uncontrollable danger, turning the extraction into a frantic struggle for survival. The escape extends into a long, continuous sequence that transitions from hand-to-hand combat to a fiery confrontation in the prison yard and eventually a chaotic chase through snow-covered terrain. The sense of urgency never relents as Tyler confronts both the armed forces of the crime syndicate and the harsh conditions of the environment. This sequence is designed to test not just his physical limits, but also his emotional endurance. For the first time, Ketavan sees the cost of the violence that surrounds Tyler, recognizing the depth of sacrifice required to keep her and her children alive. Her disbelief, fear, and shock highlight how extraordinary Tyler's world truly is, and how far removed it is from the life she once had. After escaping the prison, the group seeks temporary refuge, but their relief is short-lived. Zurab, driven by rage over the death of his brother David during the extraction, swears vengeance. His fixation on Tyler becomes the emotional engine of the antagonistic force, turning the conflict into something deeply personal. Zurab is portrayed as a man whose identity is intertwined with loyalty, violence, and vendetta, making him a formidable enemy whose determination matches Tyler's own. The film juxtaposes the two characters, exploring how grief and obsession can shape individuals in opposite ways. While Tyler grieves through acts of protection and atonement, Zurab channels his grief into destruction and retaliation. The safe house sequence allows for deeper character development as Tyler confronts the emotional weight of his actions. Conversations with Ketavan reveal his lingering guilt over the death of his own son, a trauma that continues to define his motivations. His desire to save others becomes a way of seeking redemption for his inability to save his own child. The film uses these moments to show that Tyler's stoicism conceals profound emotional wounds. His willingness to risk everything for a family not his own speaks to the emptiness he carries, and his belief that every life he saves helps fill a void created by his past failures. Tension escalates when the safe house is compromised, forcing the group into another desperate flight. Yaz's role becomes more prominent as he supports Tyler through firefights and strategic retreats, showcasing the bond between them. Yaz's unwavering loyalty underscores the theme that Tyler's life, though marked by violence, is also defined by meaningful connections forged through hardship. Their teamwork demonstrates how trust can function as a lifeline, strengthening the emotional impact of every confrontation. The climax unfolds in a high-rise building in Vienna, where Zurab stages his final attack. The environment becomes a labyrinth of glass, concrete, and narrow corridors, turning the space into an arena where strategy and endurance are as crucial as strength. Tyler fights with mounting exhaustion, his body showing the cumulative toll of every battle he has endured throughout the mission. The confrontation with Zurab is both brutal and symbolic, as it represents the clash between two men driven by different interpretations of pain and purpose. Zurab's relentless aggression forces Tyler to draw from his deepest reserves of strength, fueled not by vengeance but by the need to protect the innocent family that entrusted him with their lives. The emotional peak of the climax comes with the death of Yaz, whose sacrifice adds a layer of tragedy to the story. His loss shatters Tyler and Nick, making the victory over Zurab feel bittersweet rather than triumphant. The pain they experience reinforces the film's central message: violence always demands a price, even when the cause is just. Tyler ultimately defeats Zurab, but the victory is overshadowed by grief and exhaustion, leaving him emotionally broken but still committed to the mission's purpose. In the aftermath, Tyler is imprisoned but later approached by a mysterious handler connected to Nick's network. The offer presented to him suggests a new path, one that involves continued dangerous missions, but also the possibility of channeling his skills into something purposeful. This ending underscores that Tyler's journey is far from over. His trauma, guilt, and resilience form the core of his identity, making him both a flawed and compelling figure. Extraction 2 closes with the idea that redemption is not achieved through a single act, but through a continuous effort to protect others, even when the weight of the past remains heavy.